I'll go ahead.
Go ahead, Arlen.
Good. You seem to be getting a tighter rotation here lately. What are you seeing with the matchups and the lineups you're putting out there?
Well, I don't know what your definition of a tighter rotation is. I mean, I've played 9 to 10 guys pretty much every game, and so, and in regards to this team, whatever gives us the best chance to win, those are the guys that'll be out there on the floor. And so, if that's your definition of a tighter rotation, then I agree with you.
What did you think of Seth's play the other night? 26 minutes. He didn't score, but got a chance to get out there, just sweat and play, and he hadn't done a whole lot. Hadn't practiced a whole lot since the injury.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. The last time that he had played before SMU was UCLA. So, it does take time to get into a rhythm. The best way to get into rhythm of playing basketball in a game is playing basketball in a game. And so he had one practice prior to SMU, but it was great having him back out there on the floor. He's such a big piece of our team in terms of what he can do on both ends of the floor, his ability to score, 3-level score, his ability to defend. He's a bigger, stronger guard. He can guard multiple positions. And, he's a junior. He's an experienced player that has gone through and been through a number of different situations. And those are the type of players that you want out there on the floor. So I'm glad he's back.
I know that you're not big on talking about starting lineups or anything like that, but do you have to have a conversation with a guy when he's out for a while, he was starting, he comes back and kind of figure out if he's going to come off the bench or start? Do you have to have that conversation? Have you had that with Seth?
You can have that conversation. Again, I've said that for me as a coach and me as a player, being in the starting lineup didn't mean very much to me at all. But that was me.
Yeah.
I know for some people it is. I felt in regards to the SMU game, for the amount of time that Seth was out and the limited time that he had practiced, which was a day before SMU, I felt it was better for him to come off the bench and find his rhythm. What it will look like tomorrow, I'm not sure. But I will say this, Seth will be on the floor a lot because he has earned it and because we need it.
What stands out to you about this NC State team? They're not the same team that you faced back in March. They have 8
We aren't the same team either.
That is true. They have 8 newcomers. We have newcomers as well, but you're facing Dontre Styles. He left the program 2 years ago. Have you been in contact with him at all since that period? And he said he's been close with Jalen, Seth, and RJ. Just what are you expecting, I guess, tomorrow from him and the team?
Well, I mean, NC State, even though that they do have new players, they're very similar in terms of their approach. From a defensive standpoint, they've always been a team that, applies tremendous pressure on the ball. They do a fantastic job of getting steals and deflections. After made basket, dead ball situations, full court, after free throws, very physical. They do a terrific job of scoring in the paint, attacking the paint, getting to the free throw line, versatility and athleticism. And so we're expecting that. We expected that every time that we do play NC State, and we'll expect that tomorrow.
Hubert, Jalen Washington has 18 block shots on the season, and half of them are in the last 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
What do you attribute that boost to? And the rim protection he's given you the last couple games has been really key, I feel like.
Well, I agree with you. It has been. Not only his ability to block shots, but also to alter shots as well. And so, there have been times, especially at the beginning of the year, where we were giving up too many points in the paint. Whether it was Michigan State or Kansas. Auburn.
Yeah.
And so, having somebody in the lane that can block into alter shots, which Jay Wash has been doing over the last couple of games, has been a huge benefit for us defensively. And it's something that he can do on a consistent basis, and I expect him to do the remainder of the season, and it really helps us out on the defensive end.
Well, like I was saying, what do you attribute the change to? I mean, it's been a big boost the last 2 games. Did somebody scream at him? Like what
Got taller.
You're right.
Block some shots. Okay, coach.
I mean, do you have anything you can point to there that has led to the increase?
No, I don't. I don't have anything definitive to point towards in regards to why he's blocking and altering more shots currently now compared to in the earlier of the year. But I like it, and I want it to continue.
Hubert, we talk a lot about Ian scoring, but his rebounding these last 2 games have been high level as well. What have you seen from him in that area of his game?
Well, I mean, that's something that, I've said to the guys a lot lately over the last couple of days that, there's some things that I have talked to this team since it's come together every day. And one of them is the importance of rebounding. Just is what it is on both ends, boxing out and rebounding and getting to the offensive glass. And I think Jay Wash has really done a really good job of stepping that part of his game up in terms of the importance of getting rebounds, the importance of boxing out. And it is needed. I mean, it's just, I've always believed that rebounding is the number one determining factor of the outcome of a game, and it's something that at times we have struggled with. And Jay Wash, and I think the whole team is, but Jay Wash in particular has really grown in that role, and he's doing a really good job of it. I'm proud of him.
Hubert, Ian Jackson kind of laughed a little bit when asked if NC State was a rival after the game the other night. Do you consider them a rival?
I consider everybody a rival. I don't look at anybody differently. When you're competing, I'm ready to go. So it doesn't matter where you're from, what conference you're in. My approach and the way that I want our team to compete isn't different towards one team or one program compared to another. It's one approach, and for us to compete at the highest level.
The games with, if I could follow real quick on that, the games with NC State have had a kind of fun character to them, though. With DJ Burns and Turquavion, the guys going back and forth a little bit. Obviously, there was the big ACC championship game last year. How would you kind of characterize what the games with NC State have been like in your time here as coach?
The same.
You don't think they're different than other games?
No, they're at the highest level. So whomever we play against, it's at the highest level. It's one, because they are deserving of that in terms of our preparation and our competitiveness and our play. But anybody that we play deserves that as well. And that's always been my approach. And that's the way that I coach the team.
Sorry, Coach. I'll go back to Rod's question.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
sure. Going back to Ian's offensive rebounding and his recent aggression and putting up those numbers, what have you noticed from him in practice and in games with that uptick in production?
Yeah, I mean, it was needed, having somebody else that can score the basketball, and it comes really easy for him. I mean, just his ability, his quickness, his size, his athleticism, shooting the ball from 3, mid-range, getting to the basket. I also think he's doing a really good job of attacking the basket and getting fouled and getting to the free throw line. And so that helps out RJ out there on the floor, having another score. And so he's in a really nice rhythm right now, but that's something that he's always been gifted to do, is be able to score. Where I've seen him grow the most is his leadership, his talking, his defense, just playing with tremendous energy and enthusiasm, and he's playing at a really high level right now.
For you guys the other night, 50% from the three-point line. I know, someone like a Drake had it going, RJ had it going, things like that. I guess when you look back at that film, from that game, do you feel like you guys got, better looks on this time around compared to the previous games?
No, I just think we made them. I thought we got some good looks, but I thought I thought we made them. And that's something we offensively, I want to dominate points in the paint through post or penetration. I want to live in the paint and I want to live at the free throw line. I say that to the team every day. But we also want to be efficient and shoot good threes, and we want to make them. And I felt like in SMU we made them, and we shot them and we made them.
I guess when it comes to, when it comes to the three-point shooting, occasionally, teams will, kind of go zone and things like that. I guess how, the other night, how did you see that, the efficiency from three kind of open things up for you guys,
That helped. That really helped, with the SMU coming out in a zone. It was, it was a 2-3, 1-3-1 matchup zone. It kind of morphed into a man, and I really think our ability to make threes, especially with Drake, pulled them out of that and made them go man. And so that's going to be huge for us, whether it's a man or a zone. Our ability to be able to shoot the ball from the outside gives us spacing. Everyone talks about spacing. You can put a guy at both corners and spread them out. Defenders are still going to be in the lane if you can't shoot. And so our ability to be able to shoot the basketball consistently will open those lanes more for us so that we can attack the basket through post and penetration, and that's exactly what we want.
Hubert, against SMU, Elliott picked up those 2 fouls in the first few minutes. Have you talked to him about maybe
Yes.
just kind of reeling it in?
It is. I mean, he's just obviously he's a huge piece for us as a team. And recently and at times throughout the year, he's gotten early foul trouble. And that's not good for us. We are a better basketball team when Elliott is not in foul trouble and he's out there on the floor. And so we've had a number of conversations about him continuing to be aggressive on the defensive end, but not put himself in a position where he's fouling. And that's going to be huge for us against NC State, because with their pressure, one of the things that has allowed us to have some success against them is having multiple ball handlers out there. And so having Elliott and Seth and RJ out there is a huge benefit for us in being able to handle their pressure tomorrow.
Shelby.
Yeah, and then just on the note, you talked about just the growth of Ian in terms of his leadership. What does that look like for a guy like him? Because obviously some guys are more lead by example, some are, hey, I'm going to pull everyone in the huddle and talk to them. What does that look like for him?
I think it's different for every player. One of the things that I encourage them is to be leaders within their own personality. There isn't a blueprint on the way that you need to be a leader, but I want them to be able to lead with their own personality. Ian's personality is out there. He has an unbelievable smile. He's charismatic, and I want him to be able to lead in that way. When I played, those roles were probably for the older guys, for the juniors or seniors. I've encouraged everyone to be a leader because I think things are different. There's, with guys going to the NBA, the transfer portal, there's a lot of times where guys are only here 1 year. And so I think it's important that in order to be the best team possible, you have to have leaders out there on the floor. And Ian has always been that. And even though he's a freshman, I've encouraged him every day to be that type of leader. And every day I feel like he's growing more comfortable in that role.
Just a quick follow-up, if I may. One of the things we just talked about, just kind of in the player breakouts with Drake, is he said, I feel like I kind of want to start to talk more, use my voice more.
That'd be great.
Okay.
That'd be great. Well,
He's a little quieter.
No, he is quieter, but I was really quiet as a freshman too. And maybe sometimes for me, because they start and play so many minutes, I want them to be louder. Because they're, as a freshman, I hardly even played. There wasn't really, having seniors like Steve Bucknell and Jeff Lebo, there wasn't a need for me to have a voice. And so Drake is quiet, but his voice is becoming louder in practice, in huddles during the games. I love it. But he is a freshman, and I couldn't think of to be able to coach anyone better than Drake. He's such a joy to coach, and you could see how comfortable he's becoming more and more every practice and every game at being vocal.
Time for a couple more.
Hubert, because, no, go ahead.
Drake had, I believe, 14 in the first, 3 in the second half of SMU, but still played a very well-rounded game. Do you think your players are just picking their moments better and playing more as a team, not trying to do too much?
I don't know about picking their moments. In regards to Drake, and for everyone, I want everybody to be aggressive out there on the floor. I want them to be basketball players. I always say that my job as a coach is to put them in spots and then take a step back and use your gifts and talents that Jesus has given you out there on the floor to be able to play a game that you love. And I like how aggressive Drake has been over the last couple of games in regards to not just shooting threes, but attacking the basket, getting out in transition, going to the offensive glass. And so that's a huge benefit for us. And, in combination with Drake's ability defensively, being able to guard multiple positions because of his length and athleticism, it's been a huge key for us. And you can see the growth in him, the growth in all the freshmen, and just the growth in our team in terms of finding their role and being a star within their own role.
Hubert, thank you. Hubert, because you all last year went through the process when you played Virginia Tech and you saw Tyler Nickel again, of planning for him, scouting against him, seeing him in the game, and then seeing him afterward, does that make planning for and seeing Dontrez again any less weird to you personally? Is it strange?
That's not strange to me at all.
And does having been through it last year, I'm saying, does it, I don't know, smooth the process out for you this time around?
There is no process. My outlook and my preparation is for NC State. And our preparation on playing a really good team on their home floor tomorrow at 4. Maybe my perspective is because I played 12 years in the NBA and I was traded 3 times, and I've seen former players and former coaches, and I have great relationships with all my coaches and players that I played with.
I don't mean to say that the relationship's not great.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you turn the film on and there he is. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, last one. Last one.
Ian, he had that stretch, 4 straight games, 23 or more points. He was very excited to have that record, the first UNC freshman to do that. Then the other night, he didn't score until a minute and a half left in the first half. He'd only taken 4 shots, but he had 5 rebounds and a steal. Is that a sign of maturity, a guy learning to lose himself in the game with everything more that's coming along with him?
Well, I think with Ian, we've had conversations about he's not just a scorer. There's so many other ways out there in the game that he can be impactful. I think he can be an elite defender. I think he can be an elite distributor because he has the ability in a one-on-one situation to create a shot anytime he wants to, not only for himself or for his teammates. The rebounding, especially over the last couple of games, he has stepped it up. And he's done a really nice job on the defensive boards, getting in the lane and helping us rebound the basketball. And he sees the benefit of it, not only for himself, but how it helps out the team. And you're right, that's a sign of growth in Ian, and it's something that he'll continue to do the remainder of the season.
Thank you, everybody.